Pounders, we are back, and you already guessed it. We're doing some more Underdog best ball big board tournaments tonight. Live stream. We're gonna get some of the followers in this draft. So we'll wait a couple minutes. Now I have exciting news. The draft guide, completely free to our subscribers, is live. I completed it today. It's been an absolute grind, roughly 16 hours spent on the thing, probably 2 hours formatting, reteaching myself school things, but absolutely so proud of the draft guy and how it came out. Going to give you a quick peek at it. It's 16 pages, and I think the way it's laid out is the most practical for drafting, where it's going to help you live as well. Now, obviously, we have ADPs changing every day, so some stuff is going to be a little out of date. Now, where this is brand new, this should be relatively accurate 100%. But yeah, we'll be updating it for the Pounders over the course of the off season. It's value based, and I think that is one of the easier ways to use it in a draft when you can see the values. And we got player write-ups. We got player write-ups all the way through 11 rounds, I believe. So absolutely smashed the draft guide side of things. And it's free for our subscribers because we appreciate y'all. And if it helps you, great. So just go to the Twitter and kind of see what you have to do to be eligible. It's basically just have to subscribe to the channel and retweet our post, and you're good. So let's pull up the big board. We got 9 people in the chat. Appreciate y'all coming out nice and early, and we will get this underway. Underdog. I think we're about 59 drafts through. So we're basically on pace. The tournament's 38% full. If you don't already know, Underdog is best ball, where you're drafting 20 rounds. You're starting 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, and you have 12 bench spots. And your highest point scores are automatically plugged into the lineup every single week. So you can draft hundreds of teams and you're done. That's the best part about fantasy football, is drafting. So let's start this up. I'm going to do a little countdown for y'all in the chat. Give it a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Bryce says, can we do a rookies and sophomores draft first? We'll see if we can get to it tonight. Maybe we'll take a vote on the next draft. I didn't do any of those last year, not going to lie. I was just so focused on putting as many of these through as possible. So I think that I want to try it. Bri, did you win last year? Are you the one that took it down? One of the Pounders took it down. Maybe we'll get them on the live stream for a little Friday with Fans draft club. I think that could be fun. Let me know if you're interested. You have a mic and a camera. We can bring some of y'all on. Waiting on one person. So most of you should be in here, which is awesome. I know a lot of you guys get sent over to the next draft, the consolation bracket. So this is good. We'll have a lot of you guys in here. I believe Tyler's going to be joining us as well. I said no, didn't know about it last year. I think it just came out today. Yeah, this was a this is a reoccurring tournament. Were you profitable in the Best Ball Mania last year? I pushed forward an even amount. Like, I was on pace for an even amount of lineups last year for BBM. That being said, that wasn't my focus last year. My main focus was cash and some tournaments. Now, our advance rate for tournaments was above 32%, and that included lineups that were 2 out of 12, 3 out of 12, and we did one big dog that we advanced, and that was 4 out of 12. Yeah, we were very profitable. our advance rate was extremely high. So now it's time to max out some of these tournaments. So I'm going to be super excited to show the results. I have all the results posted, super transparent on Instagram. If you want to check that out at Fantasy Dog Pound. We're not active on Instagram, but I thought it'd be a good place to throw it up for the fans so you can see that, because transparency is what it's all about. I'm going to be picking at the 5 spot. We got Joseph in the draft. Let's see. HJ Wigglesworth, always here. Always here. Never talking in the chat, I feel like, unless he's just remaining unknown. And we have Short Gamer TV. Welcome Joel 3 as well. But yeah, I mean, we had some absolute smashes last year. Like we faded Swift, we faded Najee Harris. And fading someone that busts in the second round alone will make you a lot of money. It'll increase your advance rate. At that same time, we smashed on Travis Kelce. We smashed on Josh Jacobs. Christian Watson was my most owned receiver because I was drafting him early in the offseason, right after the draft, before the news broke out, before people started watching tapes on rookies. And now the people that are interested in Underdog and best ball right now, this crowd are the sicko crowd, right? Everyone's up to date mostly. And everyone's relatively a good drafter. Now you can see some people that don't know what they're doing just based off their roster construction. But yeah, it was a fun year last year. We posted a 40% ROI in cash games, 41%. And there was no tournaments or there was no cash games that was like higher than the rest, right? They were all around the same amount. So it wasn't like there was a outlier that, oh, that's where all my profit came from. No, it was very consistent winning, 41%. And then on top of that, we were active Battle Royales weekly, and that's how we got the Goat Horns week 18. Taking down Battle Royale week 18 for 25 Gs. Thank you, Russell Wilson. Never thought I'd be thanking Russ after last year. Line of scrimmage. Mario, welcome. I know you are in the pound. We appreciate you. Appreciate you retweeting that. I'm going to get you the draft guide as soon as tonight. I can be sending them out. Just need to grab people's emails. So excited that it's done. It was an absolute grind. So just glad you guys get to now enjoy it. So we see Eckler falling here to pick 14. JT going before him at pick 9. Kind of odd, but I've seen Eckler fall all the way to 17 before. I'm pretty sure we scooped him at that. See Amon-Ra and Jalen Waddle going at the 1-2 turn. These receivers are really being pushed up the board, which that's in the draft guide. It's going to happen, and it's going to only get more normal. You're going to see Mahomes start falling to the back around here, the 2-3 turn. I think it's okay if Hurts and Josh Allen go in this range from 20 to 26 on average. Where do we pick? I'd be more likely to go Hurts if I was around here and I had the chance of getting Devonta Smith, but I don't think there's a chance we get Devonta Smith here. That being said, I do have Devonta Smith ranked above T. Higgins in my rankings. And I'm okay with any of these running backs that fall. Whoa! Stan Lee. This guy knows something. This guy knows things. He's got a brain bigger than me, bigger than you. Our small brains can't compute this move that he just made. Mega brain. So yeah, I would I would like to get a running back here, right? But I'm worried Smith, Higgins off the board. See, these running backs, they're going to fall to us, and I'm fine with going, any of these. So let's get our wide receiver in this spot. That is my thinking there. Eckler has been falling today. I mean, every single year in the draft, they try to find a change of pace back, which if they finally hit this year, maybe it hurts Eckler on first and second down. Okay, so we got a very early stack. I do not. I have to. This is crazy. Now, the way I think of it, it's not as crazy as you think because I could have gone at pick 20. At pick 20, this could be Jalen Hurts, and then at pick 29, this could be Devonta Smith. So it's like I got Devonta Smith 6 picks later. Still really, really nice, but that should not be happening. Oh my God. This is a very exciting start to the draft. Holy smokes. This is unbelievable value on Nick Chubb and ETN. Nick Chubb with Kareem Hunt leaving town, with Dearness Johnson heading to free agency. I know it looked like they lessened his role at the end of the season, but that was because they wanted to see what Deshaun Watson could do. They want to get him back passing the ball again. So expect them to go back to leaning on the run next year. Damn, Nick Chubb at 35. Mario, congratulations. Holy shit. Eckler at 14, followed by Nick Chubb at 35 with CeeDee Lamb. That is an exciting start. This is also an exciting start, getting ETN falling. I'd almost be apt to go Ramondre Stevenson as well here. Wild starts here. This is a crazy draft. Joe Burrow going at 26, which is somewhat normal. I hate it, but somewhat normal. Justin Herbert going at 28. Mike Williams going at 21. Wow. We got the Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, Cooper Kupp start. I'm happy. Right now. Sad I'm not in this room. Bry, watching from the sidelines, just seeing these values fall. Just begging to be in this room. Lamar Jackson off the board at 39. It's good. We want these QBs off the board. Let's see if our man falls to us. We could do any of these options, really. If we wanted to go tight end, I'm not huge on these tight ends in this range. You see Amari Cooper falling a little bit. Nice. Okay. For me, Christian Watson or Najee. So we're going to be picking at 53. And there's some good wide receiver value that could fall to us that I'm comfortable with. I say we go Najee here. And maybe it tells the story that they upgrade their O-line in free agency or in the NFL draft, which, I mean, at this point, I think you have to. And where we're drafting Kenny Pickett, actually, not me personally, but where some people are at 151. I mean, this offense should be better as a whole going into the next season. So let's see what value falls back down to us. Christian Watson goes at 46. I like this start as well from Fireware. Stanley reaches up and grabs Judy, which isn't a bad call. I think there's just as much unknown with Judy as there is Watson with the QB situation. Pittman goes at 47. We see Hawkinson go to Joseph 1 at 48. It's just like value after value. Now we finally caught up on ADP a little bit. Mixing off the board at 50. Oof. I've seen him fall all the way to 82. So definitely wouldn't be too excited about grabbing him there. Isaiah Pacheco at 52. Oh my God. This guy's right before me too. Just letting values fall. This would be a good exposure, smooth out pick for me. I know a lot of people like Drake London. Honestly, he's going to be one of my fades this year at this ADP until we find out more information. Let's go Terry if it lets me. Nah, we'll go Kittle. That's fine. No worries. Let me see my exposure on Kittle because it's not high, and you should have some Kittle just because he has that chance to explode on any given week. Yeah, I've only drafted him on one team just because I like the receivers in this range, like DJ Moore, but now that Kittle's falling behind these players, like Kittle or Terry McLaurin, it's honestly, I'd probably rather Kittle there anyways. And we get him 5 picks after ADP. Very even build. And we're just kind of letting the value fall to us. Easy game. Easy game. Travis, Kelce, Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin. That's a nice start as well. Devontae Adams, Patrick Mahomes, JSN at 32. It's just like, I can't. My brain's too small to compute these moves. My brain's too small. F the exposures, make a stand. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Terry McLaurin, though, I do have 10%, and that's sort of where I want to be. I like Dotson to take more of a role this year. We saw Dotson only play, 12 games last year, so Terry McLaurin's stats might be a little inflated, just a little bit. I still like him this year, but with Dotson back healthy, I mean, I think he's a serious threat to Terry McLaurin's role. But I do like both of them this year, where they're going. So we're up in 8 picks. Let's see what other crazy stuff's happening. DeAndre Swift at 59. Mario, I'm guessing, is stopping at 4 running backs after going 4 RBs in the first 5 rounds. Curious if he takes another one this draft. I think he is done, though, with this style build. Just investing so much in running back when we're only starting 2. Very interesting start, though. Very interesting. Kyle Pitts going at the 5-6 turn to Joel 3, followed by Marquise Brown. Let's see. Tyler Lockett went at 57. Yeah, so his ADP is starting to fall a little bit. Not surprised. He should be going probably a little closer to where DK Metcalf is going. He did score more points than DK Metcalf last year, and he played in 1 less game. But you already know that. We got some RB values falling to us. Yes. Yes. I mean, yes. Let's make a bet that we see the San Fran offense continue to be dominant next season. And we already have George Kittle, so we get a little more San Fran correlation. I think that's beautiful. We'll take that. We'll take that. Guys, if you haven't already, drop a like on the stream. It helps us a ton as a small channel. Again, if you like these best ball drafts and you want to get in some of these with us, subscribe to the channel, be a part of the pound, hit the bell for notifications. You'll be the first one in the lobby so you get in some of these drafts with us. Deontay Johnson goes at 71. Fun fact, Deontay Johnson did not have a single game above 15 points last year. That being said, he didn't score any touchdowns. So I expect him to score more than 0 touchdowns this year. Nice floor guy. I see him more as a cash play, but on a team where he's your third wide receiver, I think that's fine. You can just follow it up with high upside boom bust receivers later. Dalvin Cook going at 73 seems like an insane value to me. That just screams value. Joseph must be licking his chops right now. Licking his chops. Dobbins at 74. I can't wait to see this Stanley pick. We got to scroll down to guess. Ooh, Burks was going to be one of our. Algier. Okay, so it's not that far off. Do we make another exposure pick? Let's see. We pick again at 92. With that in mind, let's go another receiver here. Let's go someone with upside in Quentin Johnston. This is a player that if he ends up on the right team in the NFL draft, he could go 20 picks earlier. He might go 20 picks later. So landing spot is going to matter a ton for even Jordan Addison and Quentin Johnston. So it's an interesting pick, and it doesn't kill us if he does end up, in a negative game script team. It won't be the end of the world. But I think we have some running backs that are going to fall to us in this range. Even Zach Charbonnet. Is it the French? This is just a wild room too, where some of these values are absolutely nuts. I'm liking this squad from Fireware. You got CMC, T. Higgins, Chris Olave, Christian Watson, DJ Moore, Aaron Jones at 70, and Treylon Burks. Liking the squad a lot. We have Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts, Najee, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Quentin Johnston. Damian Pierce falls to 78. He's going to be one of those running backs that has a lot of question marks this year. Jahan Dawson going to 81. Short Gamer TV getting Rashad Bateman with the Lamar stack. Beautiful, my man. Absolutely beautiful. Mario now scooping up some of these receivers. Jameson Williams and Cortland Sutton. Two high upside guys, right? Pretty much boom or bust, which is what you want because you don't have to guess when to start them in best ball. Plus, Jameson Williams might smash this ADP. He could absolutely smash it. So I like the upside pick there. Short Gamer TV reaching on Zay Flowers. Interesting. So I am glad that we went wide receiver here because we see that the RBs did fall. And our hope would have been to get a Zay Flowers at 92 if we went running back early. But I think the room's falling to us just fine. DPJ going to 89. I mean, if you need receivers, you need receivers. It's not that far off from who's left on the board. So I'm okay with that. Really seeing these wide receivers making a push, but it's going to leave us with some nasty, nasty good value at running back. If you guys are in the draft and I haven't called out your team, let me know in the stream. We're going to go James Conner here, and there's no doubt in my mind. James Conner sneakily finished as RB20 last year. He played 13 games out of 17, and he's going as RB28 right now. On a fantasy points per game basis, James Conner was RB10. We just got him at pick 92. I love this value. In my opinion, this is James Conner's last year's Josh Jacobs at this ADP. Hot takes only. Miles Sanders off the board at 94. Interested where you guys think Miles Sanders is going to end up this offseason? Let me know in the chat where you think Miles Sanders ends up. Is he back in Philly? Because Philly, they don't really trust Gainwell. They've given him 53 attempts last year, 68 the year before. He's nothing more than a change of pace back. And we saw him actually get some of those carries when Miles Sanders was banged up at the end of the season. So a Trey Lance off the board was going to be one of our picks, but it's not the biggest deal because we have Jalen Hurts. We really shouldn't be picking a QB until the end, but we would have gone Trey Lance for the double stack there. We're here at pick 101. I like some of these running backs here. Exposure smooth out. Exposure smooth out. A lot of people are high on this kid, but I honestly think he's not the third best running back in the draft class. So we'll see. It's going to depend on where these guys end up anyways. Like he could be an absolute smash at this value, or he could end up somewhere like Chicago, right? If they move on from David Montgomery, a team that has a bad O-line, a team that has a skilled back in Khalil Herbert. So, and one of his landing spots just got filled. One of his positive landing spots in Green Bay, where Aaron Jones just restructured his contract to stay, is now gone. So, but he has a cool name. True. Let's see the exposure because I know I'm not at 8%. Oh, Jesus. All right. 6%. So we probably bumped up to 7% on that pick. I'm fine with it. He also fell to us 7 picks. So I appreciate you, Vapor. Says hit the like button. It does help us a ton. We also got those free rankings for the subs. Can't wait to get you guys these. You can just use them to your advantage, whether you like the take or not. You can form your own opinion on the information that is provided. There is factual data on there that you really can't argue with, but using it to how you think it'll affect next year is completely up to you. Got to form your own opinions. All the opinions on that draft guide are my own, written from scratch. All right. This is such a nice range for QBs too. I'm so used to going a QB in this range where the wide receivers are kind of gross and Zay Jones, Juju, pretty disgusting. And we need to catch up on receiver. Palmer was going to be one of our guys getting sniped out of thin air by Short Gamer TV. Jared Goff off the board. Doesn't have a stack with them. Not my favorite play because how do you spike with Jared Goff in week 17 for the championship without bringing the pass catchers along, which other teams will have the pass catchers if Jared Goff gets you to the playoffs? A naked Jared Goff doesn't really do a lot because he's not getting points on the ground with his legs. What is the new rookies and sophomores tournament? Have you drafted? I haven't got into one yet. I think it came out yesterday. I believe they're 4-man drafts, and it's just going to be this year's rookies and last year's rookies. One of the Pounders took it down. So I'd be interested to get on the live stream with them and kind of pick their brain about how they draft for that tournament. We're interested in a wide receiver here. And Tyler Boyd is interesting just in case they move on from T. Higgins. I think Tyler Boyd does have value in this range. There's a few more players that I like. 8 picks. We'll see if anyone falls. But typically, I like Elijah Moore here. I like Palmer, who should be in this range, and they're not. So it's a little bit of a sharper room. So when people, they do this, you got to do that. You got to zig when people zag. It's 20% filled already. All right. So the sophomores and rookies draft. Let's see it. It must be, holy smokes, it's 20% full. 11,200 entrants. So it's a smaller tournament. $10 entry, 20K up to first, 9K to second, 4,500 to third, 3K to fourth. So nice prize pool. Same thing, tournament style. So it starts week 15, the playoffs. And let me tell you, let's see how many teams make it. My guess is it's 2. At the end of round 1, 2 people will go into round 2. They'll be paired with 10 teams. 2 people will make it into round 3. And then 1 team of 10 will make it into round 4. So 2 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10. And then that will leave 56 teams left battling for 20K. When Juju falls this far, do we just go Juju? Or do we go with our I'm sorry. I'm just not going to own a lot of Juju this year. I'm just not. Yeah. It looks like a lot of people are on board with that too. We have a very balanced start, and now we're starting to catch up at receiver. We just have to keep pounding these receivers in here, finding values. And this team will start to shape up beautifully. Gainwell off the board, just definitely not one of my favorites in this range. Although Kareem Hunt's not one of my favorites either. Elijah Mitchell, gone. Short Gamer TV. On a lot of the players that we're on. Also has been watching the streams for quite a bit, so it makes sense. Elijah Mitchell, Antonio Gibson, Devon A-Chain in this range is nice. I'm so glad Madison's falling. Now, am I? Because when people were selecting him, it helped us. He was going at like 130, 125, like early on. He's nothing more than a change of pace back. They don't see him as a number 1. He's a career change of pace back guy. Unless Dalvin Cook got hurt, Alexander Madison wasn't seeing more than 5 carries a game. So even if Dalvin moves on, you have to think that Minnesota is going to bring in a free agent or draft a rookie. I think Alexander Madison, and hear me out, I think Alexander Madison's upside would be stronger if Dalvin Cook returns. And then you play off the narrative that maybe Dalvin Cook gets hurt for week 15, 16, 17. Maybe he's hurt from week 12 on, right? And Alexander Madison then takes the lead role. I think that's the way you find success with Alexander Madison. But in cash game too, like sit and goes with just normal 10, 12 teams, he should be going, man, way down, way down. Juju number 1 receiver for the Falcons next year, and I can't get on board with that. As much as like London, I'm not a fan of just like the whole offense. It run first offense for pass attempts. They rank 31 out of 32 teams. So very run heavy. You have the offensive coordinator returning to the team. So I don't expect a whole lot to change. Do they bring in a new QB? Maybe. It's still going to be a run first offense. Also, Kyle Pitts is returning. So all those people you see retweeting Drake London had a 29% target share. Yeah, that's because you couldn't name another single person on that offense. All right. Rant over. Rant over. Let's bring in another high upside rookie. I think he's going to fly up the draft board after he runs a 4.240. So I think Juju going to the Falcons would actually be a terrible landing spot for him. I think he'd be the third target on the team behind London and Pitts. But yeah, with Pitts returning, you can't tell me that Drake London's going to have a 29% target share again. I refuse to believe it. Now, if you want to say 24, 25%, sure. But 24, 25% target share of an offense that averages 24 pass attempts a game, it's the math isn't there for where he's going in ADP. So that's going to be one of my hottest takes in my draft guide. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, I don't see him absolutely smashing and going into like the third round, like a top 10 wide receiver. I just don't see it with the way the offense is ran. And then again, what if they don't bring in a QB? There's always that risk that they say, hey, let's give Desmond Ridder a full year. And if that happens, Desmond Ridder is being drafted last of any starting QB. He's going after 5 rookies. He's going after 3 San Fran QBs. Yes. Alec Pierce falls to us. I have Alec Pierce ranked above Alan Lazard. So 149. Loving that. Loving that. Yeah. Just, he's a fade for me at this ADP. That's all. Last year, it was Swift, Cam Akers, Najee Harris, Pitts. I wasn't a Pitts fan last year, just based on their ADP. So you have to take strong stances in order to hit sometimes. So it doesn't mean I'm going to have 0% London. And the way I like to think about it is in these tournament style drafts, if the player has a potential to spike, right? Should we really be completely ignoring them? Absolutely not. Even if the value isn't there, sometimes you're paying for the potential of them to spike. And if that spike comes on a week 16, week 17 during the playoffs, that could push your lineup forward. It could win you the first place prize pool. So it's hard to fade people with high upside, even if it's a run first offense. I just will not own a market share value average of that 8.3%. That's all. Just a different way to think about it. So I might have strong stances, but just remember there is upside too. Alexander Madison falling to 155 right now. Mario's on the clock, bringing it all the way down to triple zeros. Goes Jordan Love. Richardson off the board at 152. Interesting. I mean, if the hype is right and he goes early in this draft, if he goes to Indy, I was going to draft Richardson with our next pick. So 150, 154, or whatever he went, 153, 150, 152. I'm fine with it. I like pairing Alec Pierce, some Pittman with Richardson. I think that's super interesting. Let's see what Mario does with his second pick. Rashid Shaheed was going to be one of our picks. Tyquan Thornton was going to be one of our picks. Some of our most owned receivers. Solid picks, fellas. Drafting with the pound. Always tougher when people know like the upside players, right? Because they're worth this range, 156, 158, even though Tyquan is going where? He's going at 178. It's just absolutely disrespectful. So Mario assumes he's not going to be able to get him at ADP at 179, and he is 100% correct. Because if I'm not selecting him here, I'm selecting him here. And I'm sure other people would select him early here. And again, Myers might move on from New England. Nelson Aguilar might move on from New England. All right, we got a galaxy brain. Some picks here. I think we caught up at receiver. Higbee's fallen. I think we can just go Higbee and scoop some value here at tight end. And we're up in 8 picks, and we'll see if our guy falls. We're between really 2 players. ER7, you think Bill Belichick can revive Juju's career? That's hysterical. Oh my God. No. No, I don't think anyone can. I don't think anyone can. Especially after what he did on Twitter, he doesn't have a lot of fans right now. More than just solar. Found your channel a week ago. I've been watching great content. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you so much for the kind words. Sorry, I drafted a lot of Juju, so I'm hoping for the best. It's cool. It's cool. He's just not one of my guys, and that's fine. I want you guys to have your own takes. You don't have to listen to everything I say, but it's nice to get different takes on different players. And this is just an ugly range. Typically, I'd be going Tank Bigsby here, but having 2 rookie running backs, I'm sort of hesitant to do that. Let's bring in a vet that we know is going to have some sort of role on some offense, whether it's just a third down role, catching a shit ton of passes. Like, got 73 passes last year. So we'll see if he returns to Tampa Bay or not. But I think having 2 rookies here, we really need to shore up some carries. I like this receiver range too, but again, Rashid Shaheed's gone. Our man Tyquan Thornton, which we have like 38% of, is gone. Probably a good thing. So we could be done at tight end here, but 20 round drafts, maybe not my favorite thing to do. I'm comfortable going 2 tight ends with a Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews, where the offense really is designed around them. George Kittle can have spike weeks, but he can also have weeks where he's mostly blocking and they go rush heavy. So I typically go 3 tight ends with George Kittle. Let's see what we got. I don't know if my receiver is going to make it back to me at 188. We'll see. Curious if you guys think Jerick McKinnon's going to return to KC. I believe he was a captain. So I would think that, being a locker room guy, a captain, that they would return him, and maybe he takes a little bit of a pay cut to stay. I mean, winning is fun and winning is addicting. Paris Campbell, one of the receivers we're looking at off the board. Followed by a Mac Jones, pairing it with Tyquan Thornton. Maybe going a Hunter Henry at 203, if he's still there, would be a nice pick. Get these running backs off the board. This is awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 after our pick. 7 after our pick. Jeff Wilson, I think, is interesting at 185. I think that could be a really good value this year. Yes. I mean, Mechie's interesting. I don't own a lot of Mechie. Let's go upside. Let's go Mechie here. Didn't play football last year. Hopefully he can get back on the field. Absolute miracle that he's doing well. Let's go with the upside pick. And we might still get another one of our guys that we want in 7 picks. Tank Bigsby still on the board, which I find interesting. And we're good at QB. Honestly, this might be a 1 QB team. I think those builds are super interesting where you just eat the bye week. You assume that, oh, well, you're going to lose out on 15 to 22 points on the bye week. But then you stack somewhere else, like maybe wide receiver, where we need to start 3 every week, and we can make up those points with that extra player. So let's see what happens. I think this is going to be a 1 QB team. Yes, and he falls to us. He falls to us. Yeah, we are wide receiver hogs at this point. We have 9 receivers. Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, Brendan Ayuk, Quentin Johnston, Tyler Boyd, Wan'Dale Robinson, Alec Pierce, John Mechie, and Tim Patrick. I feel comfortable with this wide receiver room now. We're going to have one more running back, one more tight end, and then either a running back or wide receiver at the end there. So 6 RBs with this build. 6 RBs could make it 7 and stay at 9 receivers. I'm pretty comfortable with this wide receiver room. You have the rookie for late round, late in the season value. Obviously, the rookie's starting a little slower to start the season. Really pick it up at the end of the year. So with Alec Pierce, I don't think I need another receiver. So we'll see who's available. We'll kind of go best available at that point. If Schultz leaves the Cowboys, Ferguson will spike up. Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. He's a speculative ad, though, at this point, where I wouldn't go, and you can go all in, but I'm personally not. I think they really need Schultz in that offense. That being said, Ferguson did show flashes. So I have around 10%. I might increase it a little bit, but I'm really just going Ferguson when I have Dak or as a third tight end, as a speculative ad, like a one-off. So H.J. Wigglesworth going Isaiah Likely as his second tight end. Oh, no, third. Okay. I'm personally probably not going 3 tight ends with Travis Kelce, but that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, let's grab him. Jelani Woods will bring in some more indie correlation for this squad. Correlation. Noah Fant off the board at 214. Noah Fant's tough, right? Like, we saw Will Disley go down with an injury, and it was like, oh my God, like Noah Fant's going to take over, and he didn't. Parkinson filled that role and arguably did a better job than Noah Fant. So the 3 tight end monster over there in Seattle is something that I'm avoiding personally. I think there are higher upside guys like a Jelani Woods going into his second year. Not a lot of competition at the tight end position. And he's an absolute freak. He's got freakish measurables, which are just exciting in its own. David Bell off the board. Let's see how many likes we're at. We might be able to get another one going. Let's set it up. 14 likes. If we can get 14 likes, we'll pop another one in. How many rounds? Good, he didn't get sniped. We want some near white here. Someone that should have upside if Josh Jacobs leaves Las Vegas, which I don't think they're going to re-sign him. He deserves it. He deserves to be paid. He carried that offense last year, but teams are kind of shying away from paying running backs at this point, and for the right reason. Your money is better spent elsewhere. We're at 12 likes. 2 more likes, and we'll put another draft through. Try to get some more of you guys in the next one as well. Let's see. Pull up the board here. Chase Brown, Jimmy G. Now, Jimmy G, in my opinion, would be a QB that Atlanta would bring in above Desmond Ridder on like a 1 or 2 year deal. If Jimmy's lucky, he would get a 2-year deal. And I don't necessarily think that is a huge upgrade for Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Now at the position, Kyle Pitts, if they have very similar years, or even if Kyle Pitts has 10, 20% less yards than Drake London this upcoming season, Kyle Pitts, due to the position of that tight end, gives you an advantage. I think he's going to be a better pick than London this year. Robert Woods, I think, is actually now interesting now that he is a free agent in Tennessee. I like drafting Jimmy on Atlanta or Jets teams. Yeah. 100% agree. 100%. Bry really wants a rookie sophomore intermission draft. How long do they take, Bry? Have you done one? Have you done one? Two more likes, and we're going to get another draft going. So see if we get to 2 more likes, we'll get another draft going, and maybe it'll be a rookie and sophomores. We'll see what the chat wants. But if they're only 4-man, let me see. Let's peek it. It's a draft size of 4. I do want to get as many people in these as possible. I think we're on the clock. Ryan, who's paying you to distract me? We're good at tight end. I think we're going to go with the single. It's interesting, right? We don't have to go Brock Purdy here. It's interesting having. If I didn't have the double stack, I wouldn't go Brock Purdy. But maybe, just maybe, Brock Purdy takes over the starting position for the end of the year. And this is the final squad. Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, Najee Harris, James Conner, Zach Charbonnet, Devon Achane, Leo, Zamir White, Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, Brandon Ayuk, Quentin Johnston, Tyler Boyd, Wendell Robinson, Alec Pierce, John Mechie, Tim Patrick, my old faithful, George Kittle, Tyler Higbee, and Jelani Woods at tight end. I like it. Let's see how we're doing. We're 1 like away, and we're going to get another draft going. Bryce says they're quick. The 4-man drafts are quick. They're just so thin compared to last year. Yeah, I agree. So many people are up to date on the rookies and on, basically on the rookies this returning year. No one's looked into this stuff so early, and the content has really been nonstop. Whereas it's more widely spread too, where last year people took breaks after the Super Bowl. People aren't doing that right now. So I think we'll do a whole day dedicated to the rookies and sophomores. Let's get another big board draft in so we can get some of you in the draft that are in the live stream. 1 more like. Should we do the countdown? We need 1 more like to start this draft. He says, boo. I mean, I got to do a little research too on the rookies, on just how the draft, not the rookies themselves, but the rankings of that certain draft that we haven't done yet. I'm curious on how they're ranked, et cetera, et cetera. All right. You guys have maxed out. We're waiting on 7 people. Jump on in. Jump on in. Waiting on 6, 5, 4, 3. Filling up lobbies. 2, 1. Might have caught some people by surprise. Bri, I promise we will get some rookies and sophomore drafts in before that contest fills, and we'll do it on the live stream. It's just, I want to get as many as you in these drafts as possible right now. Waiting on one person. All right. We got Art the Fat Man picking at the 1 spot. Congrats. Congrats. Followed by Vapor. Mario in another one with us. Joe in another one. Paulie jumping in. He's all over the place. H.J. Wigglesworth in every single one of our drafts. If I didn't call out your name and you are in the live stream, let me know where you're drafting. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. Paul, I saw you were drafting with Overzet earlier. Absolute piss boy draft. Backward hat on. Pick 7, Joseph Hubbard. Welcome to the live stream, my man. Joe's been in a ton of our drafts as of late. Always strong. Always strong. We appreciate you coming out. Typical Jefferson Chase start. Let's see my Chase percent, because it's been, the variance has not been on my side with Jamar Chase. It's not egregious. It's at 5%. But it seems like every time I get the 2 or 3 spot, Chase goes at 1, or he goes where he's supposed to at 2. We got Kelsey going at the 3 spot. I don't know. I can't get behind it. I can't get behind Kelsey going earlier than really pick 7. And even then, in a 20-round draft, you could argue he should be going closer to 9 after these receivers. You guys aren't going to leave me with any receivers here. I already know. Disgusting animals. Oh, there's no way I get one of these receivers here. That's the worst part about picking at 12, is you sort of do have to reach up to get your guys. I like the A.J. Brown pick above Devontae Adams. Must have read the draft guide. Must have read the draft guide. My first Chase share. First time in the only 2 I had. Wow. How many drafts are you in? I remember you saying something on Twitter about it, if that was you. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 9. Super interesting. Super interesting. Mason, please go running back here so we can just double tap. I haven't had this start yet. Let us double tap it. Let us double tap. Let's go. Never happens. Never lucky. All right. All right. We'll calm down there. 20-ish drafts. Yeah, you're still early in. You'll get some good variance on your side, and you'll get some more Chase shares. It's like flipping a coin. Eventually it's going to land on tails, right? Always heads. We got 2 double RB starts here. Yeah, this Devontae Adams Lamb start, I'm super excited about. Garrett Wilson going at 16 to fall with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, I have some teams at the 12-13 spot that have this start. Just when there's a run at wide receiver, I do reach up for Amon-Ra at this 1-2 turn. I think you have to. Unless you're doing the 2 RB start, which did win the BBM last year. App froze. I think it's fine. It's really not egregious. I mean, we saw Amon-Ra St. Brown finish as wide receiver 8 last year. Jalen Hurts going to the A.J. Brown team. Standard. Josh Allen to the Diggs team. Standard. I like it. And just because people are doing it, it doesn't make it, you're not getting different by not getting the stack, because just as many teams are getting sniped on the QB. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to get different and go Jalen Waddle. If you want to get different, go Stephon Diggs and then go like a Devonta Smith. It's just going to put you in a different range. So when you come back up, then you're getting one of these running backs. That will make your squad different. Doing small reaches like that. But yeah, Diggs Allen. I love it again this year. Love it again. Guys, if you are new to the stream, you're just joining us, we are doing the big board on Underdog Fantasy. First place, $200K, and it's best ball. Starting 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 12 bench spots. And the top 3 teams out of 12 will move on to round 15. And then it will be 2 out of 12 for week 16. And then I believe it's 1 out of 10 to week 17, leaving 470 teams battling for 200 Gs. We will be maxing out this tournament. We've done a lot of research in the offseason on these rookies, and we're going to stay up to date. We're going to stay up to date with the combine, and it's just going to give you an advantage when you do have some of that knowledge versus people that haven't done some of the research on the rookies and are taking more blind stabs. So we feel good about how much knowledge we've been stacking in our brain. I am not a draft scout by any means, but I do like to use the eye test on some of these player highlight videos. Like, tell me Zay Flowers doesn't pass the eye test. His tape's unreal. Let's see who ends up falling. I'm fine with really any of these guys. If we wanted to go receiver, it could be DeAndre. I don't think he's going to be there, though. And we get the double tap, too, which can be nice. Let's see who falls. Paul goes Ramondre. Fall by a Josh Jacobs pick at 34. 3 RB start. Beautiful. I think we just stack them, right? I think we just stack them. Just do a little stacky. Just do a little stacky tay. We got Mark Andrews after ADP. We got these 2 receivers both after ADP. Safe to say this is pretty damn different while still having upside. Mark Andrews, it's not even a hot take. He finished tight end 1 2 years ago. If he stays healthy, if Lamar can stay healthy, if Lamar is actually in Baltimore next year, maybe it hits. But you're getting Mark Andrews at an extremely generous price. Now, again, in the 18-round drafts, he will go earlier. These QBs too should be going earlier. In 18 rounds, it just gives you such a positional advantage. But in the 20 rounds where you can draft 3 QBs at will, you can draft 3 tight ends at will on the same team. You start to lose some of that positional advantage you get by starting one of those top 5 QBs, one of those top 3, 4 tight ends. I'd argue 3. I like to go 3 tight ends when I have Kittle. I'll stop at 2 sometimes with Hawkinson, depending who my second tight end is. But guys, do me a favor. If you're new on the stream, drop that like, hit the subscribe button. If you like best ball content, and you want to jump in some of the live streams with us, draft a team with us, hit the bell for notifications. We appreciate you. You're also going to get our free draft guide, which was completed as of 2 p.m. today to all subscribers of the Pound. We appreciate you. Making a run at wide receiver here, Watson, Godwin, Pittman, and Christian Kirk. Kirk's ADP is starting to fall down a little bit, which is interesting with it. I don't know. As he gets richer and richer, I'm starting to back off on my Kirk shares, especially with Trevor Lawrence going so early. I can't in the right mind take Trevor Lawrence here time and time again. Like I will own some shares, but time and time again at 56, I just think it's a reach. That being said, I am never picking Trevor Lawrence if I don't have Kirk or Calvin Ridley at least, because he's not going to get there on the ground. Week 18, week 17, the way he spikes, he's going to bring one or two pass catchers along. And I'm sorry, it's Zay Jones. He's going too soon. With the addition of Calvin Ridley, there's no way Zay Jones should be going before players like even Elijah Moore, who's going to be the second favorite target on that team. Zay Jones, if they re-signed Ingram, might be the fourth favorite target. Joshua Palmer, potentially a wide receiver 2 on his team. Wan'Dale Robinson, arguably the wide receiver 1 right now on his team. So I think there's some players with higher upside. Even Alec Pierce going much later. I would rather an Alec Pierce over Zay Jones. That being said, tournament style, he has the potential to spike week 17. I just will not be at market share at 8.3% of Zay Jones, nor Trevor Lawrence. Tyler Lockett's staring me in the face. Could also double tap running back here, but let's go Tyler Lockett. Let's go Aaron Jones, who just restructured his contract. He's going to be back in Green Bay next year. I think his ADP will go in this 55 range before Dalvin Cook pretty soon. He was one of the more efficient backs last year. 60 passes, just about five touchdowns in the air, 400 yards. Also ran for 1,100 yards on 213 carries. And this is extremely low for Aaron Jones. So look for that to increase next year as well. Dalvin Cook goes at 65, which Dalvin's a great value too, in my opinion. It's just we have more information right now on Aaron Jones, where he's going to be. So if you can make more informed decisions the earlier in the offseason where other teams are guessing more, if you do that consistently, you will be able to consistently push forward more lineups in the playoffs. Dameon Pierce going at 68 to Mario. Dobbins at 69. 2 receivers through 6 rounds. So definitely going to want to catch up on receiver there for the flapjacker. Quentin Johnston going to Bagel. Let's see what Artie does with this double tap. We see Vapor going 5 wide receivers through 6 rounds. George Pickens, DJ Moore, Christian Kirk, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. That's a beautiful room. He did get the double stack to go with Joe Burrow. Potential double stack. I think they re-signed T. Higgins. I mean, they have a Super Bowl caliber squad right now. Why would you break that up by not re-signing T. Higgins? in my opinion. Art the Fat Man, JJ, Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf follows it up with 2 value RBs, in my opinion, in Najee Harris and DeAndre Swift. You got some upside with Jordan Addison and Treylon Burks as well. It's a nice start. It's a really nice start. Yeah, but there is talks of moving Higgins. I just don't think it would be a smart play for them. I don't think it happens. Jahan Dotson going at 77. This is an interesting range right here of wide receivers. I think Bateman and Jahan Dotson should be going before Deontay Johnson and Gabe Davis. Just think they have a little more upside. Gabe Davis has 1 week upside, but again, he had the wide receiver 2 role all tied up last year. It was all his. And people blame an ankle injury that he played through, but he didn't do anything with it, really. I think he had 1 spike week. Joe Mixon falling to 78. As we just saw someone pick him last draft at like 51. So getting a 27 ADP value on that last guy in the last round. That's why now it might be correct. Like he might be worth that range in the 50s. But again, he's someone that's going to have a little more unknown. I'm assuming this is going to be a receiver, but you put yourself in a bad situation, my friend, having 1 receiver. Here goes Kadarius Toney. I find it tough to. Can we just double tap it? Yeah, I guess we will. We don't pick for 22 picks. Probably our next 6 picks have to be wide receivers at this point. Trying some different stuff here. I think these 3 guys are great value. These 3 RBs, so. Trey Lance goes at 86. Wonder if he stops drafting QBs at this point. Am I the only one that thinks that there's a potential that Trey Lance doesn't run the ball as much as he would have last year without the ankle injury? Like, I roll my ankle and like 4 months later, I can still feel it when I go for a run. The dude broke his ankle. I think that's going to hurt his rushing upside, even if it's just a little bit. And then not to mention you have Brock Purdy breathing down his neck. 86 seems rich. 86 seems rich. And then you don't have any of the pass catchers as well, which I guess is not needed if you do have the potential rushing upside. All right, now it's kind of that ugly zone where if you need receivers, you're reaching. Really have to reach. 12 picks just to get Jalen Hyatt. 15 picks to get Darnell Mooney. So that's why we kind of scoop the value at running back, and we'll just come back around to a wide receiver range that we're comfortable with. Better to break bone than to sprain. Maybe. Who's to say both didn't happen? I mean, he's had 2 surgeries on it now. I just think it's tough to even break your ankle and come back and be the same exact guy next year. I saw an interesting stat, and I wish I could quote who said it because it's absolutely hilarious. In Trey Lance's career, high school and college, he has thrown less passes than Tom Brady in one season. Tom Brady's last season. More pass attempts than Trey Lance, all in college, all in high school, and the NFL, if you want to count that one rain game. Thought that was just mind-blowing. So there are some unknowns with Trey Lance. Purdy still hasn't had surgery. I believe it's happening any day now. The word that I read was it's going to be a 3-month recovery for the UCL injury. He has a doctor that does hundreds of them. Now, that being said, I think it opens up the door for Trey Lance to grab the starting position back. But it's going to be a battle. If Trey Lance has 2-3 bad games, Purdy's right there to take over. And honestly, I think Purdy might be a better fit for that offense. That might be a hot take. But we'll see. I think it's a super interesting scenario in San Fran. There's a lot of unknown. A lot of unknown. Let's pull up the... Yeah. He might just be trying to get second look, third look at it, at the UCL injury. Jalen Hyatt off the board. I like Daniel Jones in this range. We don't feel that we have to go a QB, though. We really need to double tap receiver. And double tap we will. And double tap we will. DPJ finally has a full season under Deshaun Watson. After finishing wide receiver 40th last year, he played 11 games under Jacoby Brissett, and right now he's going as wide receiver 52. I don't think you give up 3 picks on a guy to give up on him less than... I know, but you have a guy that got you to the championship round, a guy that ran the offense efficiently. Doesn't matter at that point what you spent on him when you have someone else come in and be effective. Now, we'll see. We don't really know what Trey Lance is at this point at the NFL level. There's just unknowns. And to go at pick 86, I mean, it's... On average, he goes at 101. It's a little better. But again, he could not play the whole year, could re-injure the ankle. I know Brock Purdy has the injury. That's why there's so much unknown. It's exciting. It really is. I wouldn't be surprised if we see both QBs play next year at some point. Jamal Williams off the board. Joseph has Diggs, Allen, Amari Cooper, TJ Hawkinson, Jameson Williams. So very pushing off RB till 7th round, getting Tyler Algier, Sanders, Jamal Williams, brings in Mooney. Interesting squad. Definitely works. Definitely works. Vapors got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, Christian Kirk, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, James Cook, and the rookie Zach Charbonnet. Art's got JJ, Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf. He went Najee Harris, followed by DeAndre Swift, Jordan Addison, Treylon Burks, and then scoops up 2 QBs in Christian Kirk and Tua. Make that a 3rd QB with KJ Osborne getting the double stack with JJ. I like it. I like it. Lance was drafted to replace Jimmy, who got them to the Super Bowl. Right. That's what I'm saying. with this offense, they've gone to the Super Bowl or just before the Super Bowl twice now with immobile quarterbacks in this offense where you just need to dish the ball to the pass catchers. The playmakers like CMC now, you have Kittle, Ayuk. So I think they're going to be run heavy. I don't think Trey Lance is going to have to run the ball as much, especially with an Elijah Mitchell now being another year healthy off injury. CMC, you have Debo as well. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's a run heavy offense under Trey Lance, where I think they pass more under Purdy. Wan'Dale Robinson going at 1-5. I like Robinson in this range. I've been gravitating towards him a lot. Dupe's going 14 picks early to Joe. Interesting. Clearly, it's a little thin here at receiver, though. It's a little thin. Let's see what happens. Rodgers going to Paul. Gino, we were going to be interested in with Tyler Lockett, and we would have been done at QB behind Lamar. Man. Nice. Nice picks. Nice picks. Nice picks. Got a zig when they zag. We got a zig. They zag. Gainwell off the board before Elijah Mitchell is just, I can't do it. We've really, I think we'll have to double tap wide receiver on the way back around if we do this. But I think this is going to sure up our running back room as well as tight ends. Tight ends were done. RBs, I think we're super strong. We probably only have to go 5 running backs with this build. That being said, our last pick could be a running back. We only have to go 2 QBs. So that's going to leave us with a shit ton of receivers. And we already had the Adams Lamb start, followed by Tyler Lockett, DPJ, and Elijah Moore. So we'll see how this team turns out. I mean, only having 5 receivers through 12 rounds isn't typical for me, so it's definitely a different build. We'll see how it turns out. We have a lot of rounds to get some value at wide receiver, though. I think this is where we really turn our teams around, is in these last 6 rounds, kind of finding the values. It's a little tougher when you have Paul in front of you and HJ, who are on a lot of the guys that we're on. See Zeke falling a little bit here. I think Jerry Jones finds a way to bring him back. I think he finds a way to bring him back. What's nice in our draft guide as well is we marked out the players that are free agents this year. We marked out what wide receiver they're ranked, what running back they're ranked. So it's clearly visible. You can use the control find option, which is nice. But I find myself going back to this guide that I wrote and seeing where I have them ranked and if they're a good value, if they're mediocre value or a bad value. So definitely get on the guide. It's free to all the subscribers of the Pound. All you have to do is retweet our last pinned post on Twitter and be a subscriber, and I can send it to you by email. Let's see. Pull up the board. Art goes to Devon A-Chain. I love that for his squad as his 3rd running back. Followed by Taysom Hill, his first tight end, assuming he has to go 3. Now, Taysom Hill, he's one of those guys that's going to have those spike weeks, which is sort of what you want in best ball. Pierce goes at 146. I think Taysom Hill finished around tight end 4 or 5 last year. But if you look at it, he had 1 or 2 spike weeks that really pushed him into that range. We'll see with no Sean Payton what they want to do in New Orleans. Also, with the come up of Juwan Johnson in the red zone, kind of hurts Hill's value a little bit, in my opinion. We'll also see if Michael Thomas can stay healthy. I, however, am not banking on that happening. Staffy off the board. Nice little 10 pick value there. Tyler Higbee off the board. CJ Stroud off the board. Claypool off the board. I think we just double tap receiver here. I think we have to. And I'm comfortable going with these two. Curtis Samuel, someone who finished as wide receiver 34 last year, but he played a full 17 games, I believe. On a points per game basis, he finished around wide receiver 47, and he's going at wide receiver 73. So stuff that you can quickly identify in the draft guide, just like that, with a control F on the player, even helps me, my own guide. It's funny. But that's why I made it. Also got the deep dive, a lot of research that I want to find on these players for my own sake. And then Rashid Shaheed obviously had one of the highest ADOTs of any receiver last year. Average depth of target. Seen a little run at tight end. Michael Mayer is going to be one of those tight ends that's going to be the most polished coming out of this year's draft. Expected to be a round 1 guy. And then you have Dalton Kincaid, who's going to be more of the pass-catching tight end. They're both pass-catching tight ends, but Kincaid's not as polished of a blocker. So we're done at tight end. We need another QB. I'd say we need 1 more running back. And then we're going to stack these receivers. Small reaches, but you have to do that in the 12 spot to get your guy. Sam Howell going at 164 to Mario, who had Tajay Spears pick before. I'm liking these last 6 picks. Paired Sam Howell with Dotson and Terry. Beautiful, Mario. Absolutely beautiful. Paul went 3 QBs in a row to catch up a QB, followed by Mike Gesicki. Curious if you're going to stop at 2 tight ends or go for a third with Kyle Pitts. Vapor's last few picks: David Montgomery, Dawson Knox, Antonio Gibson, Alec Pierce, Anthony Richardson. Yeah, I kind of got greedy, I guess. I was going to try to wait on Richardson till 180. ADP is just falling. Every single draft, it's sooner and sooner and sooner. Seth, welcome back to the live stream, my man. He says, I finally caught a live draft. I'm usually just late. I do post it on Twitter when we're going live, usually 15 minutes beforehand, or you can hit the bell for notifications on YouTube, and you can be one of the first ones in these drafts with us. We appreciate you coming out. This team is ended up super different. We had a Devontae Adams Lamb start, followed by Mark Andrews, Lamar, Tyler Lockett, Aaron Jones, Akers, and James Conner, DPJ, Elijah Moore, Elijah Mitchell, Cole Kmet, Curtis Samuel, Rashid Shaheed. Interesting that I have no rookies so far. Art's going to make fun of me if I don't pick a rookie this draft. He's going to make fun of me on Twitter because I give him a hard time for never selecting rookies, and I have to give it up for you. Devon A-Chain, Jordan Addison, 2 rookies in 1 draft. Art, the fat man, has gone rogue. That's beautiful. Jordan Love with Deshaun Watson and Sam Howell. Do you have anyone on Green Bay? Christian Watson. Oh my God. Mario absolutely stealing the show right now. Cooper Kupp, Chris Olave, Kenneth Walker, Christian Watson, Terry. Got the double stack here with Sam Howell. Absolutely stealing the show. Very well done. Very well done. Paul, my man. Let my dude fall to me. One time. It's all right. It's expected. I was going to go Mac Jones, Tyquan Thornton here, but now I'm probably not. I'm probably not going to go Mac Jones, that is. For a second, I thought HJ was on auto, but it doesn't seem like it. He's got a nice running back room. He needs to catch up on QB. I'm fine with going to Tannehill as well, but I don't have any of the pass catchers in Tennessee. Not that that really matters because Tannehill does have some rushing upside. I own a lot of Tannehill, so let's go Will Levis here. And would it even be a draft if we didn't get a little bit of Paris Campbell? I like Tim Patrick. He's where I'm typically gravitating to. Khalil Shakur. If you have Josh Allen, like I suppose you can go him, but are you confident when they bring back a Cole Beasley last year and reduces his role to, I don't know, he was around 30%, 20% snap count after Beasley came back? You have to return Beasley. I don't know. I'm just not confident that they're confident in Khalil Shakur. Brian, we're going to have to do a rookie sophomore draft after this because it'll either be filled or I will be maxed out by tomorrow. Absolute sicko. Is it 150 max? Let me check. It's 150 max. How many have you done? I'm curious. Also, I don't know if it's best to max that when first place is 20K. The rake's lower. It's 10.7%. That's nice. But if you're in it for $1,500, I don't know if it's the best EV play to max it. But maybe you're an absolute freak with the rookies and sophomores, and you'll take down first, second, and third. And then you'll tell me what an idiot I am for not joining those drafts with you. That's what I'm hoping. All right, let's see our wide receiver room. Devontae Adams, Lamb, Tyler Lockett, DPJ, Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, Rashid Shaheed, Paris Campbell. And we have 4 rounds left. We're done at QB. We're done at tight end. We'll get one more. It's either going to be 5 running back, 11 receivers, or 6 running back, 10 receivers. Either way, I'll be happy with our wide receiver room by the end of this. Wonder if they will do another backyard best ball. They're going to be putting out tournaments weekly. It's crazy that there's this much traction still with football weeks after the Super Bowl. I love it because NFL best ball is our focus, especially in the off season. We don't do other sports. We're just all focused around football. Now it's a yearly thing, which it always has been in the dynasty world. But for best ball, just so excited. And I'm so excited other people are doing these drafts right now and that they're vested in it because it's our passion as well. Right age 34 entries in, started casually drafting one at a time on my phone while watching this. They take like 5 minutes each. All right. After this, we will do one rookies and sophomore draft for the people. For the people. We'll do one. We'll do one. Let me check the rankings because I haven't even looked at how the rankings are on there. Let's see. How do you do that? Let's go here. Let's go to NFL. We're up in 7 picks. We got some time. Let me pull up the board for the live chat. Terrace Marshall goes. Not good for us. All right, here we go. The rankings. You have Bijan at 1, Kenneth Walker at 2, Breece Hall at 3, Garrett Wilson at 4, Olave at 5, Christian Watson. And this is it all flex? How does this work? So in the sophomores and rookies, you're actually starting 1 QB, 1 running back, 2 receivers, 1 flex, and 7 bench spots. Very interesting. And it is how many rounds? It's only 12 rounds. Interesting. All right. Buddy, see, now you're going to get me in one of these, and I'm going to be freaking drafting away. You're going to hook me. You're trying to hook me. I'll give you one tip. QB ADPs are way off. In a positive way or in a negative way? Not interested in a Chuba here. Chuba. Let's go Pierre Strong for the hype. And we can... Let's see. I'm never going Devin Duvernay. I don't care if I have the correlation with Lamar. Terrible route runner. Bateman got hurt last year. He was the wide receiver one of the team. He did nothing with it. It was brutal. Darius Slayton wasn't even a starter on his own team to start the year. Took multiple injuries. I like Van Jefferson as a best ball guy. So we'll go Van Jefferson here. Obviously, LA Rams fell apart last year early into the season with injuries to Staffy, Cup, O-line. Just Stafford came into the season really not healthy. So I think Van Jefferson has a better year, and this ADP is way off, in my opinion. Sorry. They will go before ADP. Okay. Yeah, I would assume so as well. Interesting. Very interesting. We'll do one. 12 rounds, 4 teams. That is super quick. We'll see if you guys can sneak into that draft with me. Let's pull up the board. Juwan Johnson and Jelani Woods. He double taps tight end after only having Dallas Goedert. Love that. I love those 3. That's actually perfect. Hayden Hurst, Kyle Pitts, and Mike Gesicki. So Paul does bring in a 3rd tight end. I believe Hurst is a free agent. Just imagine, end of the first round, since he goes Dalton Kincaid at tight end. Hot takes. I'll simmer down. Bobby Trees off the board at 214. Let's see what Artie does. He's been going rogue with the rookies, selecting 2 in this draft. But after selecting those 2 rookies, he did feel the need to get one of those vet guys, get back to his old self in Adam Thielen. Zach Ertz, Tyler Conklin, and Taysom Hill definitely caught up at tight end. Possibly could go one more tight end with this build. Goes Michael Carter as his 6th running back. It's a solid room. Definitely a solid room. Probably the last pick in a receiver, if I had to guess. Someone that looks great on tape to me. I like the pick, Faber. I like the pick. You got Joe Burrow, Anthony Richardson, and Kenny Pickett. Now I get it. You have the double stack here with Joe Burrow, but that's why it's so difficult to pick Joe Burrow, in my opinion, that early is because I feel the need that I have to go 3 QBs and to get someone with rushing upside. Now, Joe Burrow can pop off for a 30-point game, but it's extremely tough for him to get to that 40-point range where Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, even Patrick Mahomes can sneak into the end zone twice on QB sneaks or on some ridiculous circus play. Can't believe they pulled that out actually in the Super Bowl. It didn't work, but absolute circus play where they're all jumping around in the huddle in a circle and then they spread out quick, hike the ball fast before the defense can read the play. Just like what is happening? What is happening? All right, what do we think? This can be a 6 running back, 10 receiver squad. I think that's what it's going to be. Who helps this team the most? I'm not going 2 receivers here. I'm debating going Deuce Vaughn or Ryan Tannehill with this build. Tavis Murray, I understand people going him, but we expect Javonte Williams to be back week 15, 16, 17 when it matters. So not my favorite pick at the end of drafts. If you're going 0 RB builds, though, he can get you to the playoffs. No one in the chat voted. Let's go QB. Let's go Tannehill here. So here's the squad. Super rare. I ended up with 2 rookies. Still rare. I ended up with no rookie RBs. We did get a second-year guy. That might have a large role. We'll just have to wait and see. Playing behind Ramondre Stevenson. And we're going to finish this off with a rookies and sophomores draft. Bry H convinced me. So thank Brian. A.J. Wigglesworth, last picks. He's got Jimmy G and Brock Purdy. Jimmy G, potential to go to Atlanta. The Jets, probably the top 2. But I think Derek Carr is going to land in New York. We'll see. I'll have to wait and see. Devontae Parker, I think, is an interesting player where you can kind of guarantee he has a role in New England next year. Potential with Myers, potential with Aguilar moving on. His role might be bigger than people think. It's really going to depend on if the Patriots draft a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds, where they think their wide receiver room is. But Mac Jones, pairing it with Devontae, I think that's a good play. And he's got Hunter Henry as well. One of my favorite value tight ends. Logan Thomas, digging deep. I would have probably preferred a Darnell Washington here, a little higher upside rookie. He's like 6'7", absolute beast. You can take a look at his highlights after this. Darnell Washington might just have a little more upside than a Logan Thomas, who's aging extremely fast. And he can't stay healthy. Let's see, 31. 31 years old, going to be 32 in July. All right. We are going to pull up a rookies and sophomores draft. And that is how we will end it off. Haven't really peeked at the rankings yet, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I like the Deuce pick here, especially after going 0 RBs, 8 rounds in. I think he provides a nice little upside for you. He has some floor guys. 3 rookies might be tough, but if one hits and another one can find a backup role, I think that lineup's interesting. All right. Where is this rookies draft that you speak of? Rookies and sophomores. Let's just go over it real quick. It's going to be an 11,200 person tournament. There's 100K in prizes. It's 22.8% full already. I think it came out yesterday. You sickos. Here's the prize breakdowns, 20K, 9K. So some nice prizes up top. And again, same standard rules. But here, the roster construction is going to be 1 QB, 1 running back, 2 receivers, a flex. And you're getting 7 bench spots. You're drafting with the draft size is 4. And you're drafting 12 rounds. If you want to try to get into this draft with us, let's go. I'm going to give you the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pounders. Waiting on one person. This is our first rookies and sophomores draft. Definitely, Dennis, welcome to the live stream. We're just about to end off here, but we're going out with a bang. We got Brian here, who I believe is a pounder. Joe is in here, an A-team I haven't seen before, with the cutesy cute headband here. It's got to be for NBA, right? It's got to be for NBA. You guys got us up to 15 likes. You guys are the best. Appreciate you. Let's see how this draft goes. You have to start 1 running back. And so we're going to get to pick at 12 and 13 as well. All right. We're ready. We are ready. Brian H is at 1. That's right, Bonner. Let's see what he does. I think I would like to start a running back wide receiver build here, but we're just going to have to see who falls. I hope Brees Hall falls. Okay. We are going to go with Brees Hall. I'm going to follow it with Olave. Let's go. We already found value, baby. We already found value. Drake London going at pick 6. Most likely would have been able to get him. That depends, I guess. It depends. Just have to start 2 receivers, 1 running back. Going back-to-back QBs here is interesting. Your man is all about risking it for the biscuit. Let's push it off. Let's push it off. QB's thin. QB is thin. But again, you only have to start one. Obviously, you want to find 2 starters, but probably not the best draft to go 3 QBs, if I had to guess, with 12 rounds. So we just scoop value here with these 2 picks, which is fine. Jordan Addison goes to 16. Nice pick. Nice. Value on that. George Pickens off the board. More value. Quentin Johnston on the board. Jahan Dotson off. Let's see how sharp our fingernails are, because we're going to dig deep. We're going to dig deep into the pockets here. Double tapping QB. Thinking about going Levis and Richardson, but let's get someone at least we know with a role. Brian says, I'm on team 3 QB. Interesting. I'm liking these values that are falling back to us here. I'm definitely going Zay Flowers. You have to start 1 running back. You have 12 rounds, so we're probably not going more than 4. 2 QBs is 6. And then 6 wide receivers. I'm definitely going Zay Flowers here. Let's see what other people have for running backs. Everyone's got about 2 running backs. So I think running backs actually should make a run here. And there won't be a lot on the way back around if we don't go running back here. We could obviously dig deep later. Alec Pierce, I thought was going to make it back for our stack potential with Anthony Richardson. And that's, not really doing these. This is the first one. Not really sure how these players fall and who's getting reached up on, but I could see how these would be addicting because they're so fast-paced, and you can really find a lot of values in here. Like Greg Dulcich probably shouldn't be going before Sky Moore and Mechie. There is value at wide receiver later. Downs off the board. Ritter off the board. We're hoping that Jalen Hyatt falls to us. Beautiful. You do want to mix in some second-year guys, but it's thin right now. It's thin right now. We know the rookies are going to start slow. Just curious. Joe's got a lot of 2-year guys, which is so smart. Shit. So that's something I would change on my second time around. Probably have to go Doobs. Just because we know these rookies do start slower. Malik Willis off the board as his team's 3rd QB. Pry has 2 QBs. Might be we playing the narrative that Bailey Zappi is the starter this year if you're going 3? Mechie off the board, Kayshawn off the board. So Bry's on kind of the same page where he only has 1 returning wide receiver. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Shaheed was someone we're going to be looking at. You know, Tyquan Thornton here. A lot of these teams still have 3 running backs, right? So that's 6 receivers. I think this last pick is a running back. Can't say it doesn't have upside. Can't say it doesn't have upside. It's not the prettiest looking. Like I would have liked a little bit of correlation somewhere, whether it was Dotson falling or getting some indie players potentially with Richardson. But there it is. We did a rookies and sophomores draft, our first one for the Pounders in the chat and Brian. I'm glad we got into one of those. Oh God, I think I'm gonna be doing more of these now. I am not happy with you right now, Bri. I am not happy with you. But guys, I appreciate you coming out, being a part of the Pound, watching these streams, getting some positive feedback from you guys. It's awesome to hear, and it keeps me coming back and want to push content out to you guys. And we're gonna be doing these live drafts all off season. Maybe we draft the winner on the live stream. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna mark these drafts that I do on the live stream, just with the potential that maybe one hits. And yeah, appreciate you guys coming out. Hit the like if you haven't already. Drop the sub. Hit the bell for notifications so you can get in these live drafts with us. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Pounders.